Hi everyone, welcome back. Thank you for joining me. So I'm doing some more fluid art creations. I'm using some of my favourite colours. So before I tell you the colours, can you guess what they are? What's my ultimate favourite colour? I probably go on about it quite a lot, but I don't necessarily paint with it all the time. So I'm using some of my favourite colours and also some earthy tones, including burnt sienna and also a space grey. I'm going to show you how I can combine those colours along with my favourite colours, and I will take you down on the canvas to show you the size canvas that I'm using, the colours that I'm using and the consistencies. So I'm really excited for this as always, but thank you so much for joining me today. So let's see what we can create. So today I'm using a 20" by 20" canvas, so a square canvas. I've got my colours here. So I've got a gold, a space grey, a burnt sienna, and then I've got 4 different tones of green by different brands. But let me show you some of those colours and the consistencies in greater detail. So let me show you the colour palette now. So you can see that I've got, by Arteza, a pearl space grey. All of my colours are mixed with just paint and water. So you can see the consistency is very runny across all the colours. We've got a burnt sienna by Pastel, gold by Arteza, a pearl pastel green by Arteza. Again, they're just all mixed with paint and water. A permanent green middle by Winsor & Newton, phthalo green by Winsor & Newton, and a permanent green light by Winsor & Newton. So these are all my consistencies, 1 part paint to 1 part water, with every single colour you can see here across the brands. Arteza might not need as much water, but again it depends on what colour that you're using because they have different densities. So it's a bit of trial and error, but I find 1 part paint to 1 part water works for me. So I'm always quite conscious of how much paint goes on my canvas and is blown onto my table. But fear not, whatever paint does get blown down off the canvas onto the table is always reused either as a flow extender or as a brand new colour. But today I'm limiting or trying to limit what I blow onto my table. So I know that I want green and those tones of green to really form a large part of this creation. And I want it to kind of sit in the base, in the background of this area. So I'm layering the paint on the canvas and I'm going to blow the paint that I've got now into some of the negative areas, so the paint will fully immerse onto the surface and cover most of the surface. But I am going to leave puddles of kind of blank canvas because that's where I want to layer the other colours. So when I start blowing it all into one and over the edges, I should limit any kind of wastage. So I'm happy with this coverage. I've got enough blank space to be able to layer all the other colours. And I really do love those infusions of green. So I'm now taking my other colours and I'm going to create 4 different puddles of colour. So you can see here, I'm using that darkest green. And that's going to dry really dark as well. I'm adding some gold on top. And then I'm going to use each colour in turn that's part of my colour palette and place that on top of each of those colours within those puddles. And then I'm going to work with 1 puddle at a time and blow that puddle into the creation and into the areas of the blank space that you see. So don't be in a rush to complete this. Just enjoy being in that moment, being in that present moment of the here and now, and seeing how all those paints react. And when you do the blowout, just think about the composition that you want. So I always want to maintain a good amount of depth, so the green that you see. But as those colours blow out, it will transform, and you might change your mind about what you want as your focal point, and that's totally okay. That's really being immersed in that creativity and in that involvement of that piece. So I'm just going to continue layering my paints. I'm going to blow them out, but what I would say is if you're enjoying this video, please give it a thumbs up, give it a like, and also drop a comment in the box below and let me know what you think about this piece so far. And remember, I do add all my colour palettes, my ratios into the description box, so expand that slightly and you'll see so much more information, which I hope you'll find useful. So for now, I'm just going to take each puddle at a time and blow the paint out into the middle and down the sides. As I continue to blow this piece out and infuse all those colours together, I'm definitely getting a rainforest vibe. I love how those lighter greens that we laid right at the beginning on the base are popping through in between those darker greens and those darker tones. I definitely get that rainforest vibe because when I go walking, not obviously in a rainforest, but I do walk in forest areas, I see and stop sometimes and look at all the nature around me. And you might have seen me share some of my nature photos on my Facebook. If not, check out my Facebook and also my Instagram. I'm on there too under Mark J. Ratcliffe Art. And you'll see how these colours really evolve. And really, nature is one of my biggest inspirations. So I'm using the torch to pop all the air bubbles, and I'm going to take you in now for a closer look so you can see at how all these tones have worked together, and I'll also take you in and show you the dried version. So here's the dry version, and you know what? I really love it. I love those greens. I actually do like those bursts of that burnt sienna. And I think that that really helps you draw your eye in. It's a focal point. But when you look at some of the greater detail, and sometimes I can't show you that detail on the video, I'm trying my best so you can see how those tones are kind of infused together, some of those cells that have been created. And there's a lot of movement in this piece. There's a lot of lines and depth within each of those puddles, which I hope I'll be able to show in some of the photos as well on my other social platforms. But I've really enjoyed working with this colour palette. I think it's quite a bold piece because that burnt sienna really stands out against that green background. But personally, I think it works really well together. Let me know what you think. I'm always interested in your feedback and in your views. But I just want to say a big thank you for joining me today, and I hope you have a great week ahead. And I hope I get to see you again in the next video. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you soon. Bye.